US-Iran negotiations, Trump's threats disrupt the table. US-Iran nuclear negotiations held at the Swiss mountain resort of Bergenstock ran into serious turbulence on Sunday when President Donald Trump's remarks to Fox News, in which he warned Iranian officials that they won't even make it back to their country if they don't open the Strait of Hormuz, quickly upended the diplomatic mission. CNN. Background. The process began on March 7, 2025, when Trump wrote a letter to Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei expressing a desire for new nuclear negotiations, warning of military consequences if Iran refused. Wikipedia. After weeks of back and forth, the US and Israel launched attacks against Iranian targets on February 28, 2026, following the collapse of earlier talks. Encyclopedia Britannica, a ceasefire and memorandum of understanding eventually followed, committing both sides to future nuclear negotiations and the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz in exchange for limited sanctions relief and the lifting of a US naval blockade. ABC News. Switzerland talks stall. As Vice President J.D. Vance led the US delegation into Bergenstock, he voiced optimism about transforming the relationship with Iran. But Trump's threat derailed that momentum immediately. CNN Iran's chief negotiator, Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, denounced the remarks, saying they reflected desperation. In Washington, CNN talks stalled specifically over disputes involving the Strait of Hormuz, a ceasefire in Lebanon, and Iran's nuclear program. Negotiations continued through the night. According to a US official, CNN, Trump also floated the idea of the US collecting tolls on the strait if a deal isn't reached, despite the existing memorandum of agreement committing to toll-free passage for 60 days. CNN saw Iran's position. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi stated clearly that pursuing diplomacy through military threats cannot be effective, while Iran's UN mission warned that any military action could destabilize the entire region. CBS News Iranian state media outlet Fars pushed back on Trump's social media demands, saying they contradict the provisions of the agreement's text. CNBC. A pattern of disruption here. This is not the first time Trump's interventions have derailed talks. In April, he publicly claimed Iran had agreed to hand over its highly enriched uranium to the US and never build a nuclear bomb. Iran denied the claims and slow talks lost momentum. Pakistani mediators eventually convinced the Iranians to continue, and they are playing that role again now. CNN. Surprising recovery. Despite the chaos, mediators Pakistan and Qatar announced that talks concluded constructively overnight and that technical talks would continue. The two sides agreed to establish a high-level committee to oversee mediation, with negotiating groups focused on nuclear issues, sanctions, and implementation. Iran's foreign minister also confirmed that some oil sanctions had been waived and frozen assets released. CNN. The situation remains fragile, with Trump's unpredictable interventions continuing to test the limits of what diplomacy can hold together.